Hello everyone. Hey, Oora is already here. I'm gonna let him in. Hey everyone.
There he is.
Hello,
Giving you a big hug.
ciao. This sounds like
Yeah,
a deja vu, huh?
it is a bit, hey?
Yeah,
I think we know each other.
yeah. I guess. You're cheating. All right.
A little bit. Hey guys, I'm gonna wave to everyone that joins the club tonight. It's for you tonight. It's for me actually in the morning.
Yes, it's 8. Yeah. I wish I had a better lighting. You look more glowing. It's
Oh,
it's the
it's
Australian
just
light.
no. I just came out of the shower. That's it. Hey guys. I'm so happy you could make it and you
Of
want to do
course.
this with us because yeah, like Bjooks loves you, I love you, so it was just hey, hi everyone. Um and also that we could make it like with the times, like time frames, because it's a bit of a thing.
Like last time when I forgot that we were doing an interview and I realized we had to go on. That was fun.
It was. So hey guys, probably a lot of people that knows Aura already. Like he makes beautiful music, ambient music, but also sometimes with like subtle beats, and you have a really nice studio. And yeah, actually, I always love to ask you like more a bit about yourself because I can say who you are and everything, but I would love to hear a bit of your story and how you ended up in New York and everything with that. So, who are you, Mr. Ora?
Yeah, I am. Start to answer this kind of stuff. I moved here as a photographer 10 years ago, and but music has always been like my main passion. I was in a band before and playing guitar and singing, and then here being alone and not really having time to play in a band, I started playing with the electronic thing, and then it got an obsession. And as you might imagine, because you're into that too, you start collecting everything. And now I'm now I'm working just with music, and like I try to put together the making content for YouTube in Instagram, where I do both demos and reviews and let's say more of a inspirational thing on the Instagram, and the music as an artist, and trying to make these two sides work together.
Yeah, I think that's so inspiring because originally you're from Italy, right?
Yes,
Yeah. And when did you thought like, okay, I need to move to New York because there it's happening?
it's it I always wanted to live in America because as a kid in the 80s in Italy, it was all about USA, and I was listening to just American music, and it was kind of a dream to be here. Um, and it happened at late in my life when I was like the 32, I think 30 or 32. I was settled up in Italy, my house in Rome, but I wasn't very happy. I was start feeling a little bored, and then it's when I decided, okay, let's do this jump in the void. I came here with just a one luggage, and then everything works out, and now I have a house filled of things. Now I start the opposite process where, while still loving New York, of course, I kind of thinking of moving back to my country, or anyway to my to Europe. And I don't know. Whenever I accumulate too much and I get too rooted somewhere, I start feeling the needing every 10 years to move away.
Yeah, to have a change. Well, I think it's a natural thing, right? That actually we humans, we always need to have a change, or we feel, if we feel like we're getting stuck, we want to move ahead to something. But I think that's very inspiring. And is that also a decision that you want to go back because of the music scene, or is it on a personal level?
It's a multitude of things. It's probably a phase of my life and my age where I kind of look for a little more quality of life and comfort, and definitely what I do here I can do anywhere else. I'm still evolving as a performing artist, because right now I did very few live show, but it's mostly streaming and stuff. So at the moment, my daily work can be done in whatever studio. And in another country, I can probably afford to have a beautiful studio and fill my life with more stuff. But here in New York, it's tough because it's a very expensive city. It's very demanding. I loved it and I still love it, but we need to carve some space for the youth, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, because your studio is quite impressive, I find. Like it is really you. Like it's your character,
Mhm.
and you have so many devices and stuff playing around. And I think you also even get more and more what I'm seeing on social media.
It,
um
it was always been. I was always been. I've been always obsessed by instruments since I was a kid, collecting guitars and pedals and whatever. The idea of customizing your chain and having a sound. So with synthesizers, whatever they modular or hardware, you have this chance to collect things and make new sound. And so yeah, I'm obsessed. And like right now, having collaboration with other brands, it's great because it allows me to try more things. It allows me to have things that are not even yet produced, and so I can help them shaping up. And so it's really fun. And it's my nerdy part that it's very fulfilled by that. Sometime, honestly, and creatively, it can be a deterrent, because when you have too many things to learn or too many things to play, it doesn't mean that then you will produce more or do better music. Sometimes it's the opposite. You get just overwhelmed. So
mm,
I wouldn't advise to buy too many things.
that was my next question. Because from my own experience, I feel when I have too many stuff, like I feel like an overwhelm and I don't know where to start. Do you have that as well, or do you always feel inspired by all the options you have actually?
There's a sort of curve. So whenever I get one new thing, I have the first, I wouldn't even say a week, but the first few days that there's some discovering and where I use that things in the best way. And sometime I got a synth or a sequencer or whatever, and I record always when I do the first step with an instrument, and magic things happen, and then maybe a few days after I cannot, I don't find that level of excitement anymore. And I produce, one of the things that people listen more of my production is the small EP that I did with the Moog Subharmonicon.
Mm.
And when I got that thing, instantly I clicked with it, and I recorded a lot of stuff. And then I published it and it went very well. But after that, every time I would play again after a month or two, I couldn't find anymore the connection. So somehow, sometimes some instrument really works for give you something, you take it, and then you sell it and go forward. So for me, buying stuff and having a lot of stuff, it's definitely an inspiration. It become an issue when you deal with complex instruments. For example, if you have pedals, since we will go there because you gifted me that beautiful pedal crash, exactly.
I have it on my lap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
nice one.
so say you have a simple synth and tons of pedals are simple, most of them, and so with that you can be really creative in a freeing way, let's say, in a way that you don't really read a manual, you just have to experiment. Say you buy an Octatrack, that it's my main instrument. I struggle with that for years, and every time I had to spend days rereading the manual, and I hate reading manual, but whatever, it happens. And so there's some kind of instrument that force you to spend time with that. And maybe at the end you spend a month and you realize like, doesn't really work for me. Like when I got the Isla SP 2400, amazing instrument, everybody raving, and I was on a list and I got it, and then I spent so much time with that and I couldn't do not one good thing. So
wow. And you sold it.
And I sold it, yes. When there's something in my studio that I don't use, I don't sold it because I need the money back, or I need to pay bills, but it's somehow distracting. It's a sort of opposite force, and then tell me, learn me, use me, and sometimes even have it in my desk. It's a distraction because I want to spend time with it, and then I lose time, and then it leads to nothing. So I sell everything that give me the vibe that is a time vampire.
Okay, so check everyone's Oora's marketplace. I'm actually like surprised because I always have like a harder time selling stuff. But I think because I always want to learn it, but maybe for you it feels more like a pressure than like, oh, I really want to dive into it and make it work.
There's really few things in my studio that I am attached and that I would never sell. And I actually, now that I don't know, but for example, my Vermona, that is something I will never sell. My Octatrack I will never sell because at this point I know it. My Avalon, that is the 303 clone, I will never sell. I have an 808 and a 303 original from Roland. I never use it. I never even turn it on. They are in my closet, and I will never sell it. Those are like the only few things that has a sort of attachment to it. But I don't know, someday though I also think that right now I use the Vermona and the Octatrack together so much, and the 303, that I feel kind of nauseated sometimes. It's like, wow, now maybe it's the time to move away from it. And that's why I bought the modular, or these days I'm playing with the electro machine drums. Find something that sounds really different, and then I was having a conversation actually with Satoshi Tomiya, the great DJ and producer, and we were talking about new synthesizers, and like how in the end whatever you give me or him, because we work similarly, doesn't really matter, because then it's how you treat the sound. So we rather have a very simple synth, in my case it's the Vermona, or could be something like a Moog, like a very simple synth with a basic thing, ADSR, whatever, 3 oscillator, and then really works with effects, because that's how really create a unique sound. So at this moment,
no, up to you. Your turn.
Yeah, it's like I guess you two use a lot of pedal too, and you know that we both also, I guess, record what we are doing. So using pedal, it's a very beautiful way to commit to what you're doing, because I don't ever save preset on anything. So whenever I record something, it has to be good. I record it and that's it. Then there's no way for me to go back to it. And I feel that it's a great thing for me to do. It removes me the anxiety of having to save everything. I don't want to even play the same thing over and over. I just want, when I play live now and when I've been invited to play live, it's always a full improvisation and random, like complete random. And I really enjoy that, doing that.
I think it suits you. Like knowing you, I think it's like a sort of one take, and then that's it. That's the mood of the moment, and you capture that. And then the next day you feel maybe differently, and you're gonna create something else. I think like also people, if you have any questions for Oora, drop them there in the comment section, and we will answer them. We know, actually a lot of people know your new album In Darkness, which is sublime. I've been listening to it yesterday fully. And it's a mixture of different sounds and different soundscapes, and even sometimes with a little beat. And they all have like a similar vibe. And I was wondering if that is because you are using a lot of times then the same devices, or is it like totally
it's
improvised? And how is your album made?
Every album that I release, most of the time, it really relies on a similar setup. That doesn't mean the same synth, but the same kind of chain. For In Darkness was mostly an entertaining things to me. Every synth player, sooner or later, do the soundtrack to a movie that doesn't exist, right? To a point that when I read that, I'm always, oh, another one. And then I said, I'm gonna do it that too. And I was listening a lot to artists like Lorne at that time.
Oh yeah.
And so somehow I got into a kind of effect that I never use, that is distortion. I don't use it a lot. I always like very clean and round sound, but I had few tools at that moment, the one being the Autobahn pedal, the Overstayer modular channel, and the Culture Votor in my studio, and I wasn't using them a lot. And so I start using, it was the Vermona, the Juno, and that's it, I think, passing through the distortion, then recording with the reel-to-reel, sometime in cassette, and try to get a very crunchy and melancholic, dark sound, mixing a sort of a retro vibe and synthwave approach, with my idea of not having a very structured work. Like there's not a lot of there's never harmonic progression in my stuff. It's mostly always, I found out that always working in one scale or one chord and try to be in a drone mentality where everything go on a pedal note. It's in a way for me to be lazy and not have to learn too much theory, but also try to see how much you can squeeze out simplicity and stick with that. And so In Darkness, it's a very simple thing, but that was all about finding an interesting mood and a sort of story in my head, and work on that. Then there's the one that the album that I released in August, Iteration, that a way more complex because that was more production. But even in that was starting each track with one sound, mostly a pad sound and an ambient field recording, whatever. Put them together and then build tracks on that. So I like to stick. If I go random, meaning that okay, today I'm gonna produce, I probably end up with bad stuff. I need to have some idea or a link between the track that I'm doing, and then things works out most of the time.
That makes sense. Like I've heard you a lot of times saying that your sound is simplistic, or that you, but how, because I hear even it is simplistic, it's very dynamic. Oh, and sorry, I will come back to all the questions very soon. Um, but I'm thinking of like you probably have like a lot of pedals and also knowledge about it because you are played in a band probably. So you create a whole dynamic around this simplistic vibe, but like which pedals would you recommend and which ones did you use for in your album? Because I hear there is like not only use a synth or whatever, there is like so much more
There's a
to it.
lot of, it's always a lot of effects. So
Yeah.
my two favorite things that I put everywhere is reverb and delay. That's are important to me. So in my live set, the one that I play, that is that sort of dub, whatever, I have two effects that are always on, and one is the Eventide space in one what's the name, one patch that I always use. That's it. I never change anything. And then I have the Benny Dub Echo that is a sort of digital but version of a tape delay that you would use for dub. Benny Dub Echo is, I love it. Then I have the hologram microcosm that it's really something incredible for all the holes you have when you play. Especially if you have, my foundations, like mostly when I play that set, is a kick and the Vermona, and that's it, and the 303. And I don't have pads recorded. I have some sample that I use sometime, but with the hologram, I feed with a mixer a send, and that thing can create very easily once you understand. It's kind of weird to understand, but once you get it, it can create cover all the holes. Like you need a pad, okay, microcosm can do that. You need something rhythmic, microcosm can do it. So those three are my foundational pedals for the live set. When I record things, it's always changed, but this guy is always there. This has probably been my favorite pedal that by audio rooms. Then this guy,
multi-effect one? Was it a multi-effect one, or is it which one was that?
This is a reverb with 6 different what's the name, settings. It's the algorithm. Yeah. But it has an incredible stereo feel. So you put one note and then you open the effect because it has a dry and wet. And I think it's brilliant because you can kill and you can mix with knobs. Plus he has a big knobs. I like big knobs. And so everything through this sounds amazing. Then I love to pair it with the Chase Bliss Mood here. That is a granular, small grain sampler. And it's great to create ambient stuff and like a drone thing. Then I have all around, but like Empress. I like Empress, the Reverb Empress ecosystem. For example, if you have to start the ecosystem, is an amazing pedal because it gives you everything that you need in one pedal. I like Strymon, and now I'm waiting for the new Night Sky that is arriving Monday, so I'm excited to see.
Is it the dark edition or?
Sorry?
Was it the dark edition, the Night Sky Day? It released a dark edition, or?
No, that is the one you have behind you. The big sky. They did the black. No, the Night Sky is the one similar to the Volante, and it's a reverb. Since I have not enough, so I know that.
Yeah, I mean.
And but it sounds very interesting. So there's a friend of mine, Paper Tape, that is using the Vermona, and in a complete different way that I do, but he uses it with that pedal, and when I hear it, it inspires me. I say, I'm not gonna copy you, but I'm gonna have it. So let's see. and then that's it. I used to say that when you start, then there's this guy that also is very interesting, the Zoya.
Mm.
This is the Euroburo, that is the version for the Eurorack. But it's very complex, can do a lot of stuff. I really like the simplicity of like this kind of pedal where there's few knobs, and even the Strymon, the one without like the basic one, I have them all. The simpler it is, like if it does one thing but it does it good, it's great. You
Yeah.
just you don't have to learn anything. You just have to feel it and play with it.
I think that's so funny, but I think it's so great because I think a lot of people just want to play, you know,
Exactly.
and if you have to think a lot, maybe it just it interferes with your creativity, and I think it's a good tip, you know, like just find something that works for you and that flows and that you don't need to think too much.
Beside,
Basically.
beside, you can save a lot of money because instead of buying, I don't know, a Moog one that costs $16,000, you buy a simple one and you buy a lot of pedals. And I feel that I'm joking, but it's like I feel that when you start something,
Hmm.
when if you want to create something more unique, the pedal route or the effect route and using a simple device can be very, very inspiring. Then,
Mm.
I mean, we didn't touch the modular, but I have a lot of effects in the modular realm too, and like I love having a lot of effects, and in that realm it's even more crazy because there's so many possibilities, and you can start with very simple sound and then add arrays of delay and reverb, and everything can be controlled with CV. So it gives you a different, complete different layer of control that you might have in the DAW, but it's hard to have with your hand because in the end,
Hmm.
only two things at a time you can do.
Yeah, you answer actually really all my questions. I just wanted to say, like,
Mm.
ask what is the difference between the modular effects and just the pedals? Is there like a big effect in a big difference in sound or?
I don't think so. I mean, there's a lot of producer that do pedals also do the Eurorack version. Right now, in my case, I have make noise stuff, the mimeophone, that is a sort of delay
Love it.
that
Hmm.
it's very interesting. It has a delay that can last minutes. So after a few minutes, 3 minutes, it start delaying things that you play 3 minutes before. So it can create really weird stuff. And then I'm using noise engineering stuff. I have the Melotus version and the Desmodus version. They did this module you can upload a sort of plugin in it. So they are releasing more effects. So I bought two, so I can change the firmware and have different effects, and they sound great. They're very. I feel that with modular, you always go in a weirder dimension.
Mm.
So if I want even if I want a regular delay, I wouldn't use the mimeophone. It can do it, but it's not as intuitive as a Strymon delay, for example. Uh, so it's a different approach, but I feel when I sit down doing modular, I record a lot of interesting soundscape that then I might use later. Uh,
Hmm.
but sometimes I keep using pedal with the Eurorack.
Yeah, nice. I think like the last time I spoke to you, we talked a lot about like your YouTube channel and all that stuff, and I feel like it's so good to hear actually how you create music because I do hear things, you know, like I pick up the things that you use probably, but I think it's really good to share that with other people and how you create your album, and I think it's very inspiring. So thank you for that. I come back to some questions. So someone asked if you already used the Stryga.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you used it?
So I was actually recording stuff with Stryga right now. It's here.
I'm jealous.
So Stryga is my favorite things about lately. I was featured on Perfect Circuit they asked me what is your favorite things you bought lately in 2021 is that one. And I was actually thinking to buy another. And I'm sure you, Nadia, would love it because
It's on my list. It's Make Noise is on my list, and
it's a
I hope.
dangerous gateway to spend way more money that you could ever think, because that's gonna be the first, and then you'll say, maybe I need that and that. But Stryga really can be a performative tool by itself. It's very similar to the Lyra somehow, to me at least. And it has one oscillator with a folding wave generator and then an effects. It can sound huge, but I was thinking it's one sounds huge, two will sound huger. So, so
Enormous.
exactly. It was very hard to find, but now Control Mode, the shop that it's my pusher for this kind of stuff, has one. I was thinking it's stuff that is very easy to resell. And and I want to record something with just Stryga, like make an EP. And I feel I have this, I'm using with this new cool thing that I just got, the Oxy, and is a new sequencer that has a lot of power, and I'm preparing for next week. I've been invited to play, and I'm thinking to go. It's a modular New York Modular Society, so I need to have something modular. But I'm thinking maybe I'll cheat a little and I'll go with the two Stryga. I don't know. We will see. It's still you can patch thing.
Yeah, it's true. That's so true. I always feel that already with the Dub for Dark Energy I have, you know.
Oh.
Like, oh yeah, it's still like that little vibe, but yeah, that's so interesting. So where are you gonna play? Because I just come back to one question.
I'm gonna play at the Physical Synthesis headquarters. This guy that produced Cicada, that was that interesting tool that actually translate the sound, the sound in physicality, and so it's gonna be a very cool event with a lot of cool artists and about four or five artists. There's if you go to Physical Synthesis page, they're gonna be all the details, but then I'll publish. So if you are in New York, free tickets.
I'm coming now.
Oh.
I booked the flight already. So there's a question: how did you get to the point of letting go and be comfortable with improvising with an audience?
Improving.
Improving.
So my background was playing guitar in a band, and I never learned the solos, right? I always improvised because I was lazy. And I didn't feel like I want to repeat the same solo over and over. So that was the frame. When I switched to electronic music, I felt like I like it, but I don't want to be a DJ. No disrespect for DJ, but it's not my thing. I don't like to press thing or have thing, how to say, have things ready and then mix thing. I want to actually make the sound in itinerary. So, and that's because I just crave, or I just follow what makes me have fun. And to me, having fun is creating on the fly. I wish sometime that I would love to DJ, because it would make my life so much better, and probably now I would tour all over the world. So what I'm doing now, it's really, I mean, I wouldn't say one of a kind, but I noticed that there's not a lot of people that actually improvise with the idea of do a complete set from scratch, completely from scratch, that can lead to a danceable kind of music, or if you feel it is gonna be ambient, or if you feel it is gonna be noisy, whatever. So that's came after a lot of try, and the first time I play out with a real audience, it was kind of scary in a way that I don't know what I'm gonna do, because literally I have a clean slate on my Octatrack, no sequences going on, and so I always start putting down one note, and then I react to that note, and it's a sort of dialogue. And I feel the improvisation, it's all about reacting to what has done a second before. So the only things you have to train is like this sense of what's gonna be next, what can work with what I did, even if it's an error, even if the thing sounds not as good, what now? So it's a journey, and it can go in nice way, it can go in bad way, but no matter what, it should be interesting, because it's in that hour or 40 minutes you play, you have somehow to fill all the spaces, and it's challenging, and it's really fun. And people that come see me, they come knowing that my stuff is raw. It's not very refined. It's not gonna be mastered. It's not gonna be sound like going at the club. So it's fine. And there's so many. I feel that electronic music right now, a lot of people even reach to me and ask me, "Oh, when you're gonna DJ?" And that I feel is one big misunderstanding, that there's a lot in the common people that doesn't know what we do, and it's like I feel it should be the time now that producer or people that actually want to be known as performative player, they should talk about that. They should take their responsibility, let's say, but that they should take the risk. Once you take the risk, whatever it happens, you will feel very rewarded. Especially if I never had a bad exhibition whenever I played. It always ended up nice, even if I was very nervous, even if I didn't feel super happy. I don't know. It's always, you react to what you do, but you also react to the room, with the people. And again, I am a real, even if I'm not anymore a 15 years old person, but I'm an emerging artist, I have to be honest. So I still have a lot to learn on how to perform and get somewhere. So my next step is like introducing harmonic journey, and not stay in C minor or C major for the entire duration. And that scares me, because I need to learn or find way on how I can play chords without a keyboard. So how I need to tune the oscillator and find different way on how I can change. Plus, like, I have a very limited amount of tools, mostly the Vermona, that it's a basic, very basic synthesizer that I love, but I need to make the sound interesting, and that is the challenge every time. What can I do today that I didn't do yesterday? So practicing every day, though. I do every day some practice.
I think it's like, I really admire that. Like, I really feel inspired by that, because you just always go where your heart is going, basically, like with the music. And some people, they need to prepare it a lot or make presets, but you just go with the flow. And I think there comes with it like a sort of risk, for some people. But I feel like it's great to have this more upcoming, that people are improvising, because that is also music, like just play and have fun, and not too structured. So
yeah, I was seeing a post you did a few days ago about we need more depth in music. It was somebody that was criticizing you on the native instrument, right? And I like that post of native instrument, because it was a sort of getting off the path of producer being like machine, doing. I really hate. I mean, I don't hate, but I don't like the kind of producer that I see publicized a lot on Instagram and YouTube. When, oh, you want a pack of 600 MIDI chords and you just press a button and it sounds great. I hate that. That is to me not music. That is tricks. That is a trade. And don't get me wrong, it can get you work, and it's useful for work. It doesn't strike me as a hard craft or whatever that I would be interested. So what I want to listen about people, what is their uniqueness, and each one of the artists that I follow, that I become friend, you included, each one has its own way of talk about music. And I feel like I found the only way that music speaks to me and makes me feel happy. I'm also extremely grateful because I am lucky enough that I had the chance to do that. And that didn't come out of the blue. I had to work a different career. I had to have a day job. Then I had to have a person next to me that supported me, and at the right moment would say to me, okay, why don't you take your risk and do whatever you want to do? That's Candice that is around, so I wanted to say thanks to her. Otherwise,
say hi.
You know, we always need a partner that supports and a frame that supports us, but taking risk and taking whatever makes you feel uncomfortable and enhance your craft in that and get comfortable with that is the first step, I guess, to improve and to get to something higher. And then in the end, the real struggle is like understanding why you do music or why you do art in general. It's for you, it's for success, it's for the seeking of funds or whatever. And it's not easy. There's always something that erode it's the ego most of the time, makes me feel I should do better, I should have more listeners, I should be. So it's an interesting life.
It is an interesting life, and I am sure like there are so many other stuff for you coming up. You're flying on YouTube, you're flying on your albums, and you're flying next year to Europe. So I can't wait to meet you there because we both are. And yeah, is there one last thing that you really want to say to the audience, or maybe something that comes up that we would love to know? Like a little secret.
I said, I think a lot of things that I want to say. It's what I really care. If I have to leave a legacy on what I'm doing, not thinking I'm already dying, no, but I really care about how people can be inspired and can be put in a condition to express themselves. So be that through music or any other creative endeavor. I was always been the creative in the family. I wanted to be a photographer. I've been a photographer, then music, and then whatever. I like to cook. I like to create things. And I feel a lot of people get like caged in how you should do things, how things has to be, and I'm one of those. So it's an eternal struggle in like get rid of the cage and just do what makes you happy. And it's very simple. Something.
I always tear up here because I feel like you have such a point. Like especially during this pandemic, the gender, like women, the balance in gender, and I think there is so much to talk about still, you know, that is not talked about. And I think that's why we also do these live streams to talk more also a bit about the personal stuff as well, because behind every musician there's not only electronics or devices, there's so much more.
And it's the depth. It's a depth that we need. It's like
it is.
In music, it's all about that, and you know, when I was a guitar player, everybody would say, "Oh, BB King is the best because with 3 notes you can say things that other shredder can't." So that's the point. Like, there's simplicity, and it's so simple to find a thing that resonates with you and makes you feel happy.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's so hard because we need to make money, we need to live in a certain way, we need to buy things, we need to be complacent of stuff, we need your mother and father be proud of you, you need your partner to be proud of it. So there's so many layers of harshness you put on yourself. And then you end up that maybe just playing guitar for the sake of playing guitar, it's what makes you happy without even have to put out an album or whatever. So find that one things and just do it. That's it.
I love that. I need a t-shirt with that. Like, find that thing and just do it.
Just do it. Just do it. I feel that that's not a good idea.
That's already there.
It might sue me.
Yeah. I'm so happy you could join. And yeah, actually, I want to do a little competition because I probably think there are so many more questions for you. We want to give away a Bjooks t-shirt and send them over to someone with the best question, because I'm gonna upload this video and tag Oora, and we're gonna pick out the winner, and then we announce it in the next live stream. I can't talk anymore. I think I need to drink something. Anyway, I have a big love for you, and
Same here.
I'm sure we will talk soon, very soon. And I hope everyone enjoyed. And we have next week Panic Girl. So
nice.
Put the questions in the video when I upload it, and we will answer them as well, or I can answer them as well. So yeah. Thank you so much.
Love you, Nadia, as usual.
Love you. See you soon. Bye, guys.